Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Irresistible.
Let's go.
Okay. Let's go through this very quickly and make it so that it's as painless as possible. We will get to the releases in a second. I did cover it quietly over on my Instagram page, answered a few questions from the Instagram folks. So I came over here because I felt it was only right that I go live over here since I had already went live over there. Okay, so here we go. Hello to all of you. Hello. Thank y'all for coming. I know I did not go live Wednesday, but I was sick Wednesday. I'm still sick, as a matter of fact, but I feel 1,000 times better than I did Wednesday. I can tell you that. All right. Hello, B. Jeffers. How are you? All right. So let's get into Smackdown, Friday Night Smackdown. Smackdown was a pretty simple show. It did what it was supposed to, set up new feuds, tell us about new feuds, and then we got to see where some of the Royal Rumble winners could be going. We see that it is very possible that Charlotte could be leaning heavily into her daughter's direction or to one of her best nemesis direction, which is Rhea Ripley, given her conversation with Rhea Ripley this past Monday. This Friday, the Charlotte Flair that we're used to seeing, the overly confident, very, very arrogant Charlotte Flair, was the one that we saw today. Monday was Charlotte that was vulnerable, coming back from an injury, winning Royal Rumble, and really not really knowing what she wanted to do, it seemed. But she seemed to be back to her old self, and we saw that Charlotte today. But to get back to Jey Uso, he came out very similar to the way that he came out on Monday Night Raw. And he just, there wasn't a lot of emotion in this one because he ain't new to this. He true to this now. And then he called out Cody Rhodes after he had a little bit of a moment with the crowd. And essentially what they did is they had their back and forth. And what they did, they told each other that while we respect each other and I don't have no issues with you, you my homie and everything, Cody's side of things is this title meant everything to me, and it took me forever to get it, and I'm not about to drop it just because you now have the juice and you're about to get to your mountain and tell your story. If me having to cut your story off is how I solidify my legacy as a champion, then so be it. On Jey Uso's side of the coin, He basically is like, it's my time to shine. You had yours last year, historic, grand, loved it. But now it's time for me to make my move and to become a champion. He has not decided officially who he wants to challenge yet. He could very well challenge Gunther, somebody who he hasn't beaten, who seems to deem him as nothing more than another footnote in his legacy. And then you have Cody Rhodes, who actually respects Jey Uso and would deem him to be a worthy adversary at WrestleMania. It really would depend on how they want to book Mania and where they would want to go. But if I were putting my money on somebody, I would put my money on Jey Uso going after Gunther, seeing as how that is a conquest that he has yet to be able to vanquish. With all that being said, they were interrupted by Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Both men came out there, and Tama Tonga, led Jacob Fatu into a promo, which led to a fight, which led to a match later on in the night. Gonna be honest, I did not want this match to happen. I felt like it shouldn't have happened. The closeout of the show, the way that it happened, yes, that should have happened. But a full on match, I wasn't okay with that. Cody Rhodes is not at 100%. You can clearly see that. He is not walking properly. And that is obvious that he has some issues with the way that he is moving and shaking. And I love Cody as much as the next person, but just because you're champion doesn't mean you have to run yourself into the ground. And that's one thing about Roman Reigns as champion that I 100% respected. He was not just going to wrestle any and everybody just because you were there. He was going to take on who he felt was worthy. And I think that Cody should have that same approach as champion. But everybody, when you're a face champion, they make you run yourself into the ground. But when you're a heel champion, you can spread out your matches as far as possible. I don't really understand that logic, but it is what it is. Moving on, DIY came out there and decided they wanted to talk about their win at the Royal Rumble and how they're two-time champions, and they wanted to pay their respects to the former champions that is known as the Motor City Machine Guns because they're dead. Their chances of getting a title shot is dead. And they were in the ring praying and shit. And I'm just like, bro, all right. D Pretty Deadly came out there and basically was like, you owe us. We were saving your ass time and time again, and you owe us a title shot. DIY was like, maybe you need to just like sit down, relax, wait, because like we're not going there right now. We're having a moment of silence. There's a moment of silence. You're not acknowledging. And that's when Nick Aldis came out there. And Nick Aldis made it very clear that DIY is in a ton of trouble. But the problem with DIY is that they have finagled and weaseled their way into a title shot. And not only that, but they finagled and weaseled their way into maintaining those titles. And because of that, Nick Aldis is sick of their shit. So the title shots that they had been dangling in front of Pretty Deadly, they were going to give them. And those title shots were going to be given if Pretty Deadly was able to beat DIY tonight in a match to which DIY was not prepared to wrestle, but they wrestled and they lost. Trying to cheat, they lost. The very same way they tried to cheat, Pretty Deadly cheated. And now Pretty Deadly has a title shot. Now, the next shot we saw was Motor City Machine Guns in the back talking cash shit because they felt like, hey, we had an opportunity to win those titles. We almost had them if it wasn't interrupted by the Street Profits, which I'll get to them in a second. That's when Los Garza shows up. And for whatever reason, they seem to be having an issue with Motor City Machine Guns, which I don't understand. If anybody should be mad, Motor City Machine Guns are the ones who should be mad. The last time that these two met, Los Garcias was walking away from them while they were in a tag team matchup together. They were supposed to be working together. And Motor City Machine Guns had to end that match on their own because those Garcias ended up deciding that this wasn't enough. I'm leaving. So they walked away. And they're jaw jacking back and forth. And for whatever reason, Electra steps in front. And I'm like, bitch, what are you doing here? And then here comes Santos. And I'm like, okay, we know for a fact that Los Garcias can talk for themselves. We don't need a choir and a preacher to come in and tell us what they want to say. We don't need that. Let them handle their tag team business on their own. This is why Legado del Fantasma sometimes doesn't work, because there's always some reason for Elektra and Santos to step in the middle of everything. And quite frankly, they're not the ones who are going to be competing or dealing with Motor City Machine Guns on the regular. So it needs to be Humberto and Garza and Angel who are consistently dealing with Motor City Machine Guns. They know how to speak. It's not like their English is bad. They know how to talk. They can talk for themselves. They don't need help with promos. They can do that very well. So, no. You need to find your own business. Elektra, you need to be more concerned about getting in the mix of these title shots for this United States Championship. That's where I would be focusing. Santos, your ass needs to be focusing on Shinsuke, who seems to be lurking in the backdrop of everybody's drama and bullshit. And Shinsuke hasn't had a challenger yet. That's where your focus needs to be. But, what do I know? I'm just a lowly fan watching wrestling. Okay. Hello, Jay. How are you? I hope everybody is doing well. There is a viral sinus infection going around. I got it. It's terrible. It's terrible. Okay? It's horrible. It makes you feel like shit, bro. You feel terrible. Okay? Very first qualifier match we see for the night is Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven. Now, some people were pissed off. They were mad because Bianca qualified. I expected Bianca to qualify. I expect at least half of the qualifiers to be major names. You're going to see a lot of people in these Elimination Chamber matches. These matches are not built to build new stars. These matches are built to build marquee matches for Mania and a marquee match for Elimination Chamber. That's it. That's all. You guys are going to have to understand that that's what that's for. Bianca Belair did qualify, but it wasn't easy. Piper is never an easy opponent for Bianca, and Piper always pushes Bianca to her limits in their matches. But ultimately, Bianca was able to qualify, and she was one of the first to qualify for the women for the Elimination Chamber qualifying match over on Smackdown. Next qualifier match was for the men, and we had LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and of course, we have Big Jim. Now, Drew McIntyre kicked this off. He came out and was saying that he turned over a new leaf and he's a new man. Okay, he got up one day after he had the Royal Rumble match because he was pissed off about how things went about because people were taking liberties in that match. He didn't appreciate it. That was a shoot. I don't think he was supposed to put that in there. But anyways, he goes on to say that, he got up that morning in his big house with his hot ass wife, and he looked in the mirror and he was like, "Oh my God, you're an amazingly fit looking man. You're a good looking man. Why are you so angry?" I was like, that's a very good question that I'm sure your arrogance and just complete ignorance will not be able to answer. He was like, you have your health, you're attractive, you have a beautiful home, you have a beautiful wife, you got a beautiful family. You have nothing to be upset about. So I'm choosing to be happy. And my next target now is Cody Rhodes. And I'm like, great. Amazing. You have something I want, something that I never lost, something that was stolen from me at WrestleMania. And I was like, wait a minute. No, I think you're confused, darling. Yet your title, the one that you had, while both of them are gold, one of them is called the World Heavyweight Championship, and the other title is the WWE title. Now, you did have that WWE Championship at one point in your life, but you lost that title multiple times. The reality is, Drew, you don't want to take any responsibility for what you've done. You lost. There's no shame in losing. You pick yourself up, you start all over again, and you become better having done that. But instead, you like to make excuses and cry and whine and complain, which is exactly what Jim and LA Knight was saying. Now, LA Knight's promo was a little different. LA Knight started off by saying very simply, he said to all the young boys and the men in the audience and people watching at home, I want you to understand there ain't nothing wrong with a man crying every now and then. There ain't nothing wrong with you expressing yourself and being vulnerable and showing emotion. But we all don't like no crying ass bitch. And that's what Drew McIntyre is doing. He's just whining and complaining about everything that he doesn't get that he believes he deserves. Now, Jimmy, on the other hand, did the same thing by calling out Drew McIntyre, but he basically just did what we all have been saying for the last couple of years, is that you are constantly whining and complaining and crying about what you didn't get, what you did get, what you feel you deserve, what you didn't deserve, and then you don't take any personal responsibility. He was like, bro, no one stole anything from you. You lost. You lost. Get over it. Move on. And instead of Drew listening, he decides to attempt to insult him by saying, oh, mistakenly calling him Jay Uso. And then saying basically he insinuated that Jimmy and Jay could just trade places because neither one of them are unique. And all he has to do is say yeet and he can pretty much do what Jimmy does. What Jay does. And I was like, that would have been my cue to kick you right in your face. I would have kicked you in your face. Because there's a distinct difference between the two twins. You can tell the difference between the two of them. While they are distinguished twins, we understand that they are different. They are very different. And it's not fair to marginalize them like that when in all actuality, you're not too far off from being a one no wonder yourself, Drew McIntyre. Let's just keep it all the way 100. But to just save you a lot of drama and a lot of time, Drew McIntyre was able to come in and win, and he pinned LA Knight. I'm assuming this was the punishment for LA Knight over showboating in the Royal Rumble to make Drew McIntyre happy. Me personally, I wouldn't have done this. I would have let them fight it out, and however it happened, it happened. Drew McIntyre would have gotten over it. He wasn't going to win the Rumble no way, and the storyline could have been set up either way without the Rumble being involved. So I don't understand why he's always in his feelings and crying and whining, but it's very, very annoying. So anyways, Drew McIntyre qualified for the Elimination Chamber. And then we had another qualifying match with the girlies. Bliss and Candice LeRae had a pretty decent match with each other. And for this to be Bliss's first match back, it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It was a very, very, very good match for her. She had a very good welcoming to her. She came back in her fiendish style character. She still has Lily, which Lily's gotten much of an upgrade, and she's wearing her jacket Fiend Forever written on the back. So it looks like Bliss is gonna stay in this darker version of herself. She isn't going back to the goddess as of what we know. She did beat Candice LeRae tonight in this matchup. But prior to this, the Queen came out dressed like she was finna go salsa dancing. And basically, Charlotte leaned into all her shit. And then Tiffany Stratton came out there and made it seem like she was looking at the Charlotte. And then she was like, girl, the world has moved past you. We're no longer looking at you. We're looking past you. I'm the new it girl and you're the past. And Charlotte was like, she was like, as soon as you pick me, I'm going to beat you and the world's going to continue to forget all about you. And Charlotte was like, girl, I told Rhea on Monday that I saw a kid in the ring. And she said, but with you, girl, all I see is a child. And she was like, I see a little girl in here begging me to make her into a star. So she said, you know what you could do? You know what you could do? Since this is how we're going to do this. She said, what you could do is get on your knees and beg me to choose you to make you into a star at WrestleMania. And I was like, girl, Charlotte is with the shits. She was like, if you want me to be a villain, I will be a villain. Okay? And I'm here for it. Fuck y'all. Y'all treated that lady like shit. So whatever she do from here on out, make sure you blame yourself. Don't blame nobody but yourself. Don't do it. Blame yourself because you did it. That's when Nia and her punk ass sidekick Candace came out there, and they got to talking shit. So next week, Nia Jackson's gonna be facing off against Tiffany, and it may not be Tiffany Stratton facing off against Charlotte Flair at Mania. It might be Nia that Charlotte Flair picks or not. Really depends. So Charlotte says she gonna be there next week because she wants to see how this little story is gonna end. So we gonna see. I don't really care because at the end of the day, Tiffany gonna win. Okay, she gonna win, honey. It is what it is. Now, like I said, we got all of these qualifiers are set up, but they haven't updated all the graphics for everything over on the W's of the WE. So the Elimination Chamber, this is the original graphics. Is Liv Morgan qualified on Monday, Bianca Belair and Bliss qualified today, and then we had Punk and Cena qualify, or CM Punk was ushered in, grandfathered in. CM Punk had to qualify, and then tonight we had Drew McIntyre qualify. So what happened on Monday after Raw went off air was Kevin Owens attacked. He attacked Sammy and hit him with a small package pile driver. And y'all know this move is illegal, but he keeps doing it. So whatever makes y'all happy. Sammy was stretchered out of the building. CM Punk was there with him. And then Kevin basically was in his car crying, saying that Sammy left him to basically, watched him get his career get ended. And then later on that night, he went and got into the Royal Rumble and competed while he was being stretchered out into to the hospital. He said that he'll never forgive him for that. They'll never be friends again. He hates him. He's hurt. And he feels like, he said that same night you were in the ring with Roman Reigns, helping Roman Reigns inside the Royal Rumble while I was, and to be fair, like devil's advocate, right? This particular instance, you can kind of understand where Kevin's coming from. But Kevin wasn't concerned about the damage that he was doing to Cody or the hell he was putting Sammy through. And this is why in this instance, I can't be on your side either, because you were using Sammy to manipulate him so that you can get that championship for yourself. You didn't care about anybody else, but as soon as you were the one who was on the receiving end of the damage, as soon as you were the one who had to bite the bullet and be taken out, then the world has to pay. And that's where I have a really big problem with him. Kevin is always a vendetta type of person, even when that vendetta only makes sense to him. And while, yeah, Sammy was his friend and Sammy could have very easily stepped in, this was not a fight that Sammy should have even been a part of. He was there for you when you went into this fight. You knew the consequences of this fight. You knew where this could be headed. You knew where this could go. And you still took it there. You didn't have a problem with damn near trying to end Cody's career and kill him, but you're mad because Sammy didn't protect you? What do you mean? What did you want him to protect you from? Yourself? Because you could have very easily walked away at Saturday Night Main Event and none of this would have happened. You would have just simply lost another title match. You could have had your ass in the Royal Rumble with the potential to win it. Instead, you had to create this illusion of you being champion, running around with this winged eagle belt, being a weirdo, and then manipulating Sammy into believing that you're believing in him and his ability to win the Rumble so that he could come and help you win your match. Because your ass knew you wasn't going to win that match, and you knew that Cody was going to go he was going to definitely go there to keep you from getting that damn championship. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He did exactly what your ass was going to do. That's why his hip is damn near detached right now. That's why he fucked up now. You can't sit in your car and cry and say your friend hurt you and he wasn't there for you when you caused all of your own demise. You caused all of this. This is all your fault, man. All of it. And you're taking no responsibility. This is your fault. You're the reason why I'm here. No, you're the reason. Your decisions, your actions is what got you here. And this is going to lead to a point where you're never going to be able to recover from this. You cannot go through life and just blame everybody else for your problems. So Kevin Owens essentially says that this isn't the end of their issues, that they're going to continue to fight this out. So as long as Kevin Owens is breathing and as long as Sami Zayn is breathing, Sami and Kevin are going to be intertwined in a bitter battle, which is going to suck donkey balls for Sami. And I know Karrion Kross is going to be sitting there just chomping at the bit, babes. Just waiting for that moment, honey. Ugh. You hate it. You hate to see it. But anyways, the show ended with the tag team match, which I really wish that they didn't have that tag team match. But Cody and Jay, both of them ended up winning the match, only for Solo to return and attack Cody after the match was over. And that's how Smackdown went off the air. It was a long and tedious show, but it was an okay show nonetheless, okay? Now, let's get to the releases, okay? We're going to talk about the releases because some of y'all are just being very, very weird. And I need you guys to understand this is standard practice. It happens. Okay? It's not that big of a deal. It is to the superstars who are now on a 30-day window and are losing their livelihoods. And I understand for them it is very, very horrible. And I'm not marginalizing that for them. I'm just saying us as fans, this isn't really our business or our fights. The only thing that we can do is support them in where they're going. And that's it. That's all. There's nothing else that we can do here. The WWE released several superstars today. Okay, AOP got released, which is Akam and Razor. Paul Ellering has also been released. Sonya Deville has been released. Blair Davenport and Cedric Alexander. This looks like they're gonna have their spring cleaning, which they usually do after Mania. This is very early that they're releasing talent. They're doing it before Mania. They're cutting pieces off the books. They did release some talent. Was it like earlier this year or late last year with Baron Corbin? He was released. They may even start cutting some NXT talent as well. This is standard practice for WWE, unfortunately, and all of the companies do this. They all release talent to cut the books down. And even though WWE is a billion-dollar company, sometimes it's not necessarily for budget cuts. Sometimes it's because the talent isn't being used. They don't have anything for them. They don't want to keep them on the books anymore. So they let them go. And personally, I'd rather you do that than to hoard and hold on to this talent. Because talent like Cedric Alexander and Blair Davenport, they're going to bounce back faster than you think. And quite frankly, I felt like they could have kept Blair and use Blair in another place. Sonya, if she was built up properly, would have been a really good heel, but it's not the end of the world for any of these people, especially Cedric. Out of all of the people who were released, Cedric is going to fare the best on the indies, in my opinion, especially if he goes to New Japan, which I'm hoping and praying that he does, because Cedric will go and he will thrive in New Japan. I also think that he could thrive in TNA. I think Sonya would thrive in TNA. They are desperate for knockouts right now. I looked at their knockouts division yesterday, and they are depleted. They need new women over there. So Sonya can go over there. If Blair wants to go over there to TNA, she definitely can. But they need new women to round out that women's division and really bulk it back up. Yeah, as far as AOP and Paul Ellering are concerned, no shade to Paul Ellering, but it is what it is. WEID, WWNIL, WWE LFG, which is Tough Enough 2.0. What are you talking about? WWE has had this problem since the WCW and ECW buyout in 2001. Too big of an entire roster, not enough placement and time for everyone. You got to cut costs everywhere you can cut costs, unfortunately. Okay. All right. We can understand it does happen. However, maybe I'm looking too much into it. But in the last year, they've been majority POC, Arab, LGBTQ plus, etc. I don't know. I don't know. It was pointed out, and it makes you think. What do you say? No, I say that's not true. Blair is straight, so I don't know why you're saying that. Baron Corbin was straight. They're not just cutting LGBTQ plus people or POCs or Arab people, which Arab people would be included in POCs. I think that that's not fair. And I think that the people that are being cut are people that are not being used. Tell me when you've seen Blair Davenport on TV within the last year or so. Or when AOP and Paul Ellering had a relevant storyline outside of the Wyatt Six. Or when Sonya Deville and PFC actually had a relevant storyline that actually worked for them, that actually looked decent for them, or that the crowd responded to them well. Or, and no shade to Cedric, because Cedric wasn't given the proper shine, in my opinion. But this is just one example of people who were cut that didn't make the cut, that didn't resonate well with the roster. And this is no shade, but like the last couple of years. So you got to be talking about, oh God, what was their names? I can't remember their names. I think it has nothing to do with sexual orientation or race. I don't think it has anything to do with that. If that was the case, then the Street Profits would also be gone. Then people like the Disco Twins, which is Kaden and Katana, they would also be gone. If that were the case, who else? Going over to Raw. I mean, Akira Tozawa would be gone. If that was the case, we did lose Duke Hudson. Duke Hudson left. Let's see who else. Well, he got released. We're going over to Raw. Omos would be gone if that was the case. Who else? They would get rid of everybody in NXT that's a top star right now. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes would be gone. You would get rid of Obafemi. Kaylani Jordan, Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Jakara. Get rid of all of them. Okay? If it was about the POCs, the LGBTQ plus, if it was about all of that, they would not have any of those people in the WWE at the current moment. I think a lot of y'all are trying to find reasons and logic to this, and the only reason and logic is that it's just business. These are people that they haven't been using and that they don't have a plan for within the near future. And they've decided to get rid of them and to cut them. This isn't personal. This isn't something that they have to go, you guys have to go and hunt to find reasons as to why they got rid of them. It's not about what they do on their spare time, and it ain't about what they look like. It just isn't. If that were the case, a lot of people wouldn't be getting used right now. And that's just true tea. So sometimes you guys have to stop and rethink. Like, everything isn't always a negative Nancy type of thing. Sometimes it's very black and white. It's very straightforward. And these people will be fine. I'm telling you right now, give Cedric Alexander 3 months after his 90-day lockdown, and he is going to be amazing. As long as he doesn't go to AEW, he will be fine. I think that he should go to New Japan. If he's going to do anything, he needs to go to New Japan because he will excel in New Japan. And I think he could do great in TNA as well. He could have a Matt Cardona style run on the indies because he's that good. Okay? I also believe that Blair Davenport will be just fine. She probably would fare better in AEW if she went over there. But she should go to TNA. I think that she would excel in TNA 100%. They need women in TNA right now. That TNA women's knockout roster is depleted. If I were her, I would go over there, go get me a bag, and start making some money and having some good matches over there. If I was Sonya, that's where I would be headed. I would be going to TNA. I would go to TNA and bust my ass, and I would go in there and tear TNA's ass asunder. And if I had to fight Tessa Blanchard's long chin having ass, then it'd be me and Tessa Blanchard, bitch. Okay? I would turn that whole company upside down. All right? But I don't understand why it has to be you're black or you're white. That's why you have to go. Why it has to be you're not white, so we don't want you, or why it has to be LGBTQ plus related. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. To be honest, AOP is better off without WWE because AOP wasn't being used well. They didn't even have a match for a while. To be fair, no shade to AOP, but they didn't resonate well with the core audience for WWE. I didn't like them in Final Testament with Carrion at all. I thought Final Testament looked bulky. It was too much going on. Paul Ellering wasn't needed. If you're going to have AOP back with Paul Ellering, they should have been their own thing and they should have been separate. But they chose to bring them back and put them with Carrion, which at first I thought it made sense. But then you brought Ellering in there and it just was so convoluted. It was too much. I think Cedric is going to AEW to reteam with Bobby Shelton and MVP. I think that's a mistake. I think that would be a major mistake. That's just me, but he can do whatever he wants. Given how they treated his wife, I don't think he's going over there.
Facts.
But if you believe that, then, I mean, and if that's what he wants to do, I'm sure him and his wife had a conversation and they will do what they do. I can't tell you what they've said. I'm not trying to be in nobody's business and I'm not trying to say what they did and didn't do. I'm just saying if it was me and my husband knew what happened to me, it'd be a cold day in hell before he would go over there. Am I wrong?
He'd be fucked up for life.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Too many cooks in the kitchen with Ellering in the group. Exactly. I get what you're saying, but I don't know. Too much to explain over time, but I get what you're saying. It's not, and it's not me trying to dismiss it, B, but it's like, if you're going to focus on the people who were released and only think about what they represented in one area of their lives, then the problem is not with WWE and it ain't with the superstars. It's with y'all who are trying to nitpick and find reasons why they would get rid of them. It reads more into why you are thinking that way and not WWE. It is a testament to the incessant reprogramming that we are being given as people who consume media of why people would get put in these positions. Oh, it has to be because they're gay. Gotta fire them because they're gay. No other reason. It couldn't be because we don't need them anymore, or it couldn't be because we are moving into a different space. It couldn't be because they need to condense this roster down, which they definitely needed to do because Triple H had a bad habit of having a massive roster and not being able to use it, which we all have said on multiple occasions. The problem is not in WWE per se. I'm not saying WWE is perfect, but the problem is with the perception of how we see it. Because all of us recognize when there is microaggressions, when there's hatred, when there's obviously sexual oppression, and when there's everything in between that has to do with some type of hatred or racial bias, right? But when it's very subtle, it's hard to see. So instead of you just looking at it for what it is, you have to apply some logic to it in order for it to make sense. When in reality, it is very simple. It is just, we're not using these people. We're not going to have anything planned for these people. They don't fit within the next year or two of our storylines. So we don't need them. We need to cut them. That's how my brain is working. Like I said, Blair Davenport hadn't been on TV in over a year and a half. She has not wrestled or been seen in over a year and a half. AOP and Paul Ellering, tell me when they've had a match on TV outside of the Wyatt Six. Outside of that, even before that, they were not wrestling anybody, not consistently. The only person who was wrestling consistently on this list was Cedric, and that was because he was in NXT. Even Sonya wasn't seen consistently every week. And now did you know why? And to be fair for Sonya, they tried. They tried. PFC was put together. She got the group. They came out there. It didn't hit. It didn't land. It was not giving what it was supposed to have gave. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Sonya and the group didn't hit like they were supposed to. A lot of people say they should have got rid of Zoe. I don't want to talk about anybody. I'm not going to say anybody should have been fired. I won't say that because I wouldn't want that kind of ill will wished on me. So I won't say that. I will say that I can understand where people come from when they say that. Zoe doesn't get much of a reaction when she goes out there. The only time she does is when she does a move or something that people are like really shocked by. And it's more so about how the person she hits sells it, which is more in tune with like what Dakota did when she hit that oh shit, my knee is hurting. Oh my god, what was it that she hit on her? That drop kick. I think it was a drop kick. Nasha needs some competition. AEW, most of them are going to be hot for like a minute and push aside. I think WWE's problem with releasing people is they aren't used well. WWE's best option is to bring back 205 Live, bring the Cruiserweight title back, and to give others an opportunity. No offense to Sonya, but she worked better with Mandy Rose. Once Mandy Rose got fired, they could have had Sonya start being a badass, but they fumbled her. Sonya got hurt. And then Sonya was pulled from the roster. That's the reason why. Because after Mandy left and was in NXT, Sonya was thriving on the roster. Sonya was your evil GM. Throughout all of the pandemic and much after the pandemic, she was the evil GM. She was there and she was giving everybody the smoke. And then she returned, and then she got injured shortly after that. And then she got better, and then she got injured again. She was gone. So Sonya suffered some injuries. It was pretty bad. But she had multiple opportunities on her roster. Wasn't like WWE just left her hanging after Mandy left. That's not what happened. They gave her a character on TV, which gave her character development, which she needed. Sonya was pretty decent at character work, so they let her do that while she was still rehabbing. Okay. Then she also had a situation with that stalker situation that she was trying to recover from, and they decided to give her this minimal character work that would, aid in the storylines of a lot of stories and still keep Sonya on TV and keep her working without her having to do the heavy lifting and work of the full-on wrestling career. Then Sonya was able to actually work. They let her in after she was cleared mentally and physically. So she started coming back in, and that's when she came back in to work full time in the wrestle. You saw her using her power as an official while she was wrestling. All that stuff started to come into play, but she got injured after that. If I recall, she got injured twice, and that kind of derailed a lot of plans with Sonya. And again, those things happen. I'm not saying WWE is perfect. I'm not saying that at all, because I do believe that they've done some blunders when it comes to certain superstars and just the people in general. But when things change and when they have people who go down and they have to move in a different direction and the entire regime goes in a new direction, they don't know how to incorporate them. That is a fault on WWE, so I will give you that. They do fumble in that department. But then when they give people like Sonya a full-on opportunity to go with something, and she did. PFC was created. She was out there. They were attacking people. They were getting wins. At one point it was progressing. There was no reaction to them other than people calling them the lesbian bloodline and calling them finger bang. Other than that, there wasn't really much of reaction to Sonya, Shayna, and Zoe together. They didn't pose much of a threat. Despite the things that they were doing, no one cared about them doing any type of attacks on anybody. No one cared. So that's why a lot of the things they did didn't hit once they got ready to execute them. That's why Sonya attacking Kairi Sane did nothing for her, because it fell flat in the first place. She tried to gain traction online, but she just looked like a whiny bitch. Nothing was working. Nothing was landing. And Sonya's character was falling flat. It just was. It's unfortunate, but these people will be just fine. They will bounce back. They will be okay. Especially having the exposure that they've had over the last couple of years, especially Sonya. Sonya's absolutely stunning. Okay, she ain't gonna have to want for anything. She can literally stop working with WWE right now, get a podcast going with Mandy. She probably gonna join Mandy's podcast with her fiance or husband anyway, and sit down and chit chat with them, talk shit, and do whatever she gonna do. And then Mandy could model if she wanted to. Sonya could do all of these things. She has an open book for her. And if she wants to be a wrestler and still wrestle, she definitely could do that too. Like I said, TNA is the best place for her to go right now. It is ripe for the picking. Her character would work. She could destroy Tessa Blanchard, okay, and take over in TNA. She could take Blair with her. Like, it'd be a whole thing. That's what I would do. I would take my ass to TNA and take over all of that shit. That's just me personally, though. Let me see. Anyways, y'all, that is that. It is unfortunate. I don't like to see people get fired. But like I said, it's a part of the job, unfortunately. Shit happens. It happens. It's happening now in our government and everywhere else. People are having to look for jobs, and it's terrible. Chin Wars, the Clone Wars will slap. Hell no. So Monday, we will be back Monday to talk about Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, I will be back to normal. I feel a little bit better. Haven't taken my medicine that I got this morning. I'm not as stuffy as I was before, which thank God for that. But I'm still stuffy. So hopefully Monday I will be 10 times better. The Super Bowl is Sunday. If you guys are not going to be watching the Super Bowl, at least watch the halftime show. Okay, the halftime show is where it's going to be at. Okay, the halftime show is where your money's going to be made. Okay, the halftime show is where everybody's going to be looking. Why, you ask? Why, you ask? It is because of Kendrick Lamar. Come on, stick with us. Stick with us. Okay, we're firing on all cylinders. Kendrick Lamar is performing the halftime show, and it is going to be amazing. He's going to have SZA with him. I heard that there are going to also be some other guests. Don't know if that's true or not. We just know that that's what they had said. So hopefully it's a cool time. We get to watch Kendrick Lamar perform. It's going to be fun. Everybody's going to enjoy themselves. It's going to be a great time. Okay. NXT Vengeance is next week. Oh my goodness. Excuse me, y'all. Hold tight. Make sure I pull it up. I'm going to just show y'all on WWE's website since I don't have the graphics on me. All right. So NXT Vengeance is next week, okay? And so we are going to be watching Vengeance Day on Saturday, February 15th. Obafemi is going to be in a triple threat match with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller defending his NXT championship. Then you have the NXT women's champion who is also going to be in a triple threat against Julia and Bailey. And then we have the NXT Women's North American Champion. She is going to be defending her title against Stephanie Bakur, and that is Fallon's match. So those are the matches that are set for NXT Vengeance Day as of right now. As far as I know, there are no other matches set, but I imagine by next week, Eddie Thorpe will be facing off against Trick Williams in a strap match for, the fact that he got whipped last week, which I thought was a little fucked up. It was goddamn, like we hadn't even gotten into the first week it was the first full week of Black History Month, and we had to watch Eddie Thorpe whip this black man on TV, and I was like, I don't like that shit. I don't like that. That was gross. Shawn Michaels, you pissed me off with that. Find something else to do. But we ain't gonna dwell on it. We're gonna let it be what it is, okay? Y'all make sure that y'all rate, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share my content. And please, 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 please make sure you subscribe if you are watching my channel. I am going to get my ass up out of here. Okay. I am tired. I'm getting ready to take my nighttime medicine so I can get some sleep today. And I will be back on Monday and we will talk about Monday Night Raw. Tuesday's NXT. Wednesday, I will go live about NXT and we will do Freestyle Wednesday. We'll do 2 weeks of SBC chat. That's going to be interesting. And we'll do Friday. And of course, that coming Saturday, we will have an extra live because we're going to be watching Vengeance Day, and I go live after all of the PLEs. All right. So thank y'all for coming over here with me. I appreciate everybody coming in here and chatting. Some of the new guys that have come in, I appreciate y'all. King Matthew the Third, I appreciate you, man. We was having a full banter back and forth. Next time I'll put the link in, and you can come in here and we can talk. We can chit chat together. Okay. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all that came in and chat. King Matthew the Third, I appreciate your conversation. I do. I really do. B. Jeffers, you know I love you, babes. You know I love you. Just because we disagree, don't mean I'm mad. It just means we disagree. Okay, and just because I rebuttal something that you say doesn't mean I don't all the way agree. I'm just saying maybe there's an alternative way of thinking about this. You know what I'm saying? With all that being said, babes, I owe y'all a mukbang, and it is coming. I have to decide what I want to eat in that mukbang and what we going to talk about. And y'all got to come with some stuff. We're going to have conversations, and we're going to drink and have a good time because I have hit 1,001 subscribers. I have. So this is going to be the final time you're going to see this outro. I'm going to change it to something else so we can hit that 10K, baby. You feel me? With all that being said, Becky's first 5 chapters of her book is coming. I'm getting ready to get that up this weekend. I have to get it recorded and put up for you guys. That'll be the third podcast or the 4th podcast that I have up. And then I'll finish out the rest of her book the rest of this week if I'm not too sick to do it. So those are going to be for the members. And then it will come up on the videos within, I would say I'll put it up after 5 days. It'll go up for the subscribers, and the members will get the first 5 days, to be able to listen to it. If you want to be a member, just sign up. The membership is really, really cheap, and that allows you to get a really deep discount on my merch as well. You get emojis and all kind of stuff and exclusives. And once we get to a certain amount of members, we're going to have some exclusive lives, and we're going to be doing stuff exclusively over her. Okay? It's going to be new content coming up for the members as well. That is going to be coming very soon. I promise you. All right. So please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in my next one. Thank you so much for watching my video and supporting my channel. I truly appreciate every single one of you who subscribed, liked, and commented and shared my content. It means the world to me. But now I need your help. I've built this amazing, strong, loyal, and happy community, and we've grown together. Right now, we're so close to hitting a huge milestone. 1,001 subscribers. I need it. I want it. I want it. That's a goal. That was my goal. We're currently at 997, which means we're only 4 subscribers away. Now, let me tell you what hitting that milestone will do for this channel. At 1,000 subscribers, I can monetize my channel, which means I can finally start making money from my videos. With that, I can make this channel self-sufficient, covering costs like StreamYard, Riverside, InShot, and PixArt, over $100 a month. This will allow me to reinvest into better content and keep this channel growing without relying on out-of-pocket expenses. All I ask is that you keep doing what you're already doing. Share my content, rate the videos, comment, and engage with the content. Your comments, whether it's simple first or love that video, help so much. They tell YouTube my channel matters and that my content deserves to be shared with others. Once we hit 1,001, we're going to celebrate in a big way. I'm talking mukbang, some good food, a chat about the future of this channel, maybe a little game, a little fun. We're going to have a good time. And if you want to see some friends pop in or have ideas for content you'd love for me to cover, let me know. I'm here to make this channel everything we all enjoy. Thank you all so much for being part of this journey. I'm grateful for everything you've already done, and I know with your help, we can hit that 1,001 milestone and take this channel to the next level. Let's make it happen. Hey, one more thing before I get out of here. I just gave you that nice little motivational speech. So if you could just do me a solid and take your ass over the 4th wall and go look at my merchandise and buy something, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, I know, everybody ain't got the coin to be able to purchase it. But I have two types of merch on my website. I have the high quality, high end stuff with the Adidas, Adidas merch, and then I have the regular hoodies, similar quality. They just don't have the brand name. All right. You can also get a t-shirt. We've got tumblers. We've got mugs. We've got it all. So take your ass over the fourth wall and go buy some merch. Okay, bye. Bye. Bye.